Sumi, we're standing by. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Go.
Sit down. Sit down over here, I guess. I think I need to turn this on. Oh, it's on. Okay, great. All right. Good morning, everyone. So I'm Sumi Hoshiko, and I'm a relatively new member this time around, but I've been affiliated with the Unitarian Fellowship for some time. And I'm going to be your liturgist, otherwise I think of it as the MC for the day. And so our service is now starting. We are live online in our hybrid mode. And for our prelude and to help us commemorate Valentine's Day week, Lawrence Phillips will sing Handel's Where You Walk, accompanied by Andy Jameson, wherever they are.
Okay, because this is 2 days after St. Valentine's Day, I chose this piece by Handel, Where You Walk. It's where Jupiter is singing to Semele. He's madly in love with her. Where'er you walk, cool girls shall fan the glade. Trees where you sit shall crowd into a shade. Trees where you sit shall crowd into a shade. Where you walk, cool gales shall fan the glade. Trees where you sit shall crowd into a shade. Trees where you sit shall crowd into a shade. Where'er you tread, the blushing flower shall rise, and all things flourish, and all things flourish. Where'er you turn your eyes, where'er you turn your eyes, where'er you turn your eyes. Where'er you walk, cool gales shall fan the glade. Trees where you sit shall crowd into a shade. Trees where you sit shall crowd into a shade. Where'er you walk, cool blaze shall fan the glade. Trees where you sit shall crowd into a shade. Trees where you sit shall crawl into a shade.
Thank you, Lawrence and Andy. That was really lovely. Welcome, everyone, to the Berkeley Fellowship of Unitarian Universalists. A special welcome to our friends on Zoom. So we are part of a free religious tradition that honors the loving heart, the open mind, and growing together within the beloved community. One note, please silence your electronic devices. Joanna Foley will read a poem now to commemorate Black History Month.
This is bringing us in touch with some history from the homeland of Black people, Africa. It's honoring Queen Nzinga. Imagine a queen who outsmarted colonizers, led armies, and ruled for decades against all odds. This is a story of Queen Nzinga, Africa's fearless warrior queen. Born in 1583 in what is now Angola, Nzinga grew up in a world of power struggles and Portuguese invasions. Her brother was king, but when he failed to protect their people, Nzinga stepped up. Here's the kicker. During peace talks, the Portuguese refused to give her a chair, expecting her to have to sit on the floor. And Nzinga didn't flinch. She ordered a servant to kneel and sat on their back, showing she was no less than an equal. She formed alliances. Formed fierce armies, and even aligned with the Dutch to fight the Portuguese. For 40 years, she defended her kingdoms, Nongo and Matamba, against colonization. Queen Nzinga died at 81, undefeated, her legacy a symbol of resistance, leadership, and unbreakable will. She proved that even in the face of overwhelming odds, a determined leader can change history.
Thank you, Joanna. So our fellowship stands on the land that is today called Berkeley, California, located in the unceded territory of the Ohlone people. We honor them today and always for their wisdom and resilience. So quick note, please do not record any part of the service. BFUU records it and the sermons are posted on the website. So today, do we know if Prince is online? No, okay. Well, the planned speaker for today is Prince Murugori, and I don't know if we have a technical difficulty or not, but he's in Kenya. He had been attending the fellowship here for some time, and really became an integral part of us here. And he had a planned program to deliver, but I'm hoping he joins us. Margaret, Jeff, shall we just proceed? And if he joins, we'll skip back to that part of the program. Okay. So we can move to the chalice lighting. If you're at home, please light your own chalice or candles at home now, while we light this communal chalice for all of us here. We view this as a symbol of our tradition and the spirit that lives within each of us. So please read with me our unison chalice lighting, which can be found in the order of service. So I want to say, while many of us are familiar with this ritual, I like to remind myself, and I encourage each of you to really do your best to connect with and reflect on the meaning of the words and what it might mean for you in your life. Thank you, Christine. So let love be the spirit of this congregation and service its goal. This is our living covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truths in life, and to help one another. Thank you. We light the red candle to mourn Black lives taken by police violence, and to proclaim that Black lives matter, and to express our commitment to Black liberation, reparations, and the end of slave capitalism. Okay. So we're going to have our meditation. Oh, do you have something? Oh, okay. You're going to read Prince's poem? Okay, go ahead.
I'm so very proud to represent Prince today because we became friends when he was here. So this is his poem. This poem shall speak of the wretched sea that washed ships to these shores, of mothers crying for their young, swallowed up by the sea. This poem shall say nothing new. This poem shall speak of time, time unlimited, time undefined. This poem shall call names, names like Lumumba, Kenyatta, Nkrumah, Hannibal, Akhenaton, Malcolm, Garvey, Haile Selassie. This poem is vexed about apartheid, racism, fascism, the Ku Klux Klan riots in Brixton, Atlanta, Jim Jones. This poem is revolting against first world, second world, third world division, man-made decisions. This poem is like all the rest. This poem will not be amongst great literary works, will not be recited by poetry enthusiasts, will not be quoted by politicians nor men of religion. This poem is knives, bombs, guns, blood, fire blazing for freedom. Yes, this poem is a drum. Ashanti, Mau Mau, Igbo, Yoruba, Nyabingi warriors, Uhuru, Uhuru, Uhuru Namibia, Uhuru Soweto, Uhuru Africa. This poem will not change things. This poem needs to be changed. This poem is a rebirth of a people, a rising, awakening, understanding. This poem speaks, is speaking, has spoken. This poem shall continue even when poets have stopped writing. This poem shall survive you, me. It shall linger in history, in your mind, in time, forever. This poem is time. Only time will tell. This poem is still not written. This poem has no poet. This poem is just a part of the story, his story, her story, our story, the story still untold. This poem is now ringing, talking, irritating, making you want to stop it. But this poem will not stop. This poem is long, cannot be short. This poem cannot be tamed, cannot be blamed. The story is still not told about this poem. This poem is old, new. This poem was copied from the Bible, your prayer book, Playboy magazine, the New York Times, Reader's Digest, the CIA files, the KGB files. This poem is no secret. This poem shall be called boring, stupid, senseless. This poem is watching you trying to make some sense from this poem. This poem is messing up your brain, making you want to stop listening to this poem. But you shall not stop listening to this poem. You need to know what will be said next in this poem. This poem shall disappoint you because this poem is to be continued in your mind, in your mind, in your mind, in your mind.
So now for our meditation. So in a moment, I will sound a chime, which will lead us into our time of silent meditation. So I'll ask everyone to please get comfortable. Follow your breath to your inner stillness. So I think of this as, please use this as a sacred time and space to connect with yourself, let go of external stress, pressures, and simply be with and honor yourself. You may wish to close your eyes, put a hand on your heart, or otherwise follow what helps you create that sacred space for this meditation. Then I'll ring the chime a second time at the end of 2 minutes. That was pretty quiet. So now we have the time for our joys and sorrows. Jeff, will you be reading, who will read the joys and sorrows? I'm going to read the joys and sorrows? Okay. The ritual of joys and sorrows is a time for each of us to share what is in our hearts this week, to ask for community prayers and support. So each week we lay out this book, and you're welcome to write in it any of your joys and sorrows. So I think of this as, I've also heard something like this described as roses and thorns of life that we all experience. So, and I believe this practice helps us recognize the universality of joys and sorrows that are inherent in a full life. And I believe that sharing joys magnifies the joys and softens the sorrows. So I will now read from the book. Hello, Kenya, from Jeff. This is President's Weekend, a reminder that we have good presidents in the past, and hopefully we'll have good ones in the future. From Joanne. Okay, we pray that the Congress get something together to reverse decisions to stop aid foundations and throughout the world. Prayers to all animals and prayers to all folks without homes. Hello, Kenya friends and family. So now is the time we say aloud the names of anyone we want to send support and loving energy to. So this is just an open time, and you can just say out loud those names of those people that you're wishing to send something to. Thank you for sharing that. So now we'll move to the silent part of our morning ritual. It's a healing ritual with water and stones. So for anything that's in our hearts that we wish to bring into community, but perhaps is too sensitive to speak out loud, we have a symbolic action that you can take. You can walk down the center of the aisle, choose a stone or stones, and immerse it in water, which represents our community. So I have found that a simple action like this can be profoundly powerful if there's something that we're holding in our heart that we wish to honor in this way, but we can still feel the silent support of our community here. So feel free to come forward and pick a stone. Thank you, everyone, for participating. for all that we have shared, for all that will share in our ongoing lives together. May we be grateful. Now we move to the metta meditation, and I believe Barbara Myers will lead this. The metta meditation comes to us from the Buddhist tradition of cultivating compassion and loving kindness. So please join us. This is in your order of service.
May you be saved. May you be well. May you know joy. May you be free. May all be saved. May they be well. May they know joy. May they be free. May all be saved. May all be well. May all know joy. May all be free.
So I assume that we have not, the Prince has not been come online. Is that correct? Okay. So we will move forward. I do want to acknowledge. I want to acknowledge all the everyone who worked on this service together, and those who shared readings and today. And I want to thank all of you who are here, and also those in the Zoom room who are sharing the service today. And it's really great to see you. So do you have the name of the Zoomers? Okay, you have the sermon. Okay, are you reading that then? Okay.
Jean Lieber. Marge. Mike Gardner. Paul. Simone. Benjamin Birch. And Bessie Lee. And Francis.
Wonderful, thank you for joining us. Do you want to read it? Okay, okay.
I hope, I don't know.
Okay, so
Oh,
we're going
I
to
think
sing
we're
hymn
supposed to sing.
1074.
Yeah, I would like to sing it in honor of Harry Belafonte, who wrote it. And I just wanted to say it's one of our hardest hymns. So the first page, you just repeat. We come from the fire, then the next verse, we come from the water, we come from the mountain. And then you do the woe, so is life. And then on and then the end, you have three more that repeat at the end. Water makes the river. Right? Anyway, it repeats also. So I just wanted to point that out so you could sing along better. Okay, Andy, take it away. We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Whoa, so is life. Ah, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Ah,
So we have our stand-in since Prince wasn't able to be here today.
Yes, I'm sure he can hear us. We hope he does, either now or later. But I'm so proud to bring you his sermon for today. The title of this sermon is The Alchemy of Facing Fear, Turning Shadows into Strength. Good morning, beautiful souls. I want you to take a deep breath in and exhale. Today, I want to talk about something that unites every single one of us in this room. It's not love. It's not joy. It's not even pain. It's something far more primal, far more universal. It's fear. Now I know what you're thinking. Fear? Really? That's what we're here to talk about? But hear me out. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is not the villain in your story. Fear is the alchemist. It's the fire that refines us, the pressure that shapes us, the storm that forces our roots to grow deeper. It is the force that can turn your shadows into strength, your pain into power, and your wounds into wisdom. But only if you let it. I invite you to step into this fire with me, not to be burned by it, but to be transformed. To see fear not as an adversary, but as a guide. Because, my friends, on the other side of fear is freedom. And today, that freedom is what we are here to claim. Fear is a shape shifter. It wears many masks. Sometimes it's the quiet voice that whispers, "You're not good enough." Other times, it's the racing heartbeat before a big decision, the heavy weight of self-doubt, or the sleepless nights spent worrying about an uncertain future. Can you think of a fear that's been holding you back lately? Take a moment, close your eyes, and picture it. What does it look like? What does it feel like? But here's something we often forget. Fear is not just an emotion. It's a teacher. Many ancient traditions see fear as a guardian spirit, a messenger. It's not there to destroy you, but to warn you, to shape you, to prepare you. But fear, like an overprotective parent, does not sometimes know when to let go. It tells you not to speak up, not to take risks, not to step into the unknown, because in its mind, the unknown is dangerous. But let me ask you this. What if the unknown is not the place where you fail, but the place where you become? What's one thing you've avoided because of fear? What's the rain you've been missing out on? Fear is not just something we feel, it is something we create. It lives in the stories we tell ourselves, the what-ifs, and the worst-case scenarios. You see, fear is not just a visitor in our hearts, it's an architect in our minds. It builds walls where doors should be. It convinces us that failure is permanent, that rejection is personal, and that discomfort is a reason to stop. But what if we could change the story? What if instead of saying, "What if I fall? What if I fail?" we said, "What if I fly?" What if instead of saying, "What if I am not enough?" we said, "What if I already am?" What is a fear-based story you've been telling yourself? And is it true? Now let's talk about transformation. Because fear is not meant to paralyze you, it is meant to ignite you. The great poet Rainer Maria Rilke once said, "Our deepest fears are like dragons guarding our greatest treasures." So how do we turn fear into strength? With courage. But let's be clear, courage is not the absence of fear. It is fear fully felt, yet still met with action. Courage is not standing on the battlefield fearless. It is standing on the battlefield afraid, but willing. Courage is not waiting for fear to leave. It is learning how to walk with it. What would courage look like for you right now? What's one step, just one small step, you could take to face your fear? Now let's get practical, because knowledge without action is just decoration. Here are 3 tools, simple tools, to help you alchemize fear into strength. 1, the fear inventory. Take a piece of paper and make 3 columns. First column, write down your fears. When fear arises, notice where it resides: your chest, your stomach, your throat. Place your hand on that spot. Breathe deeply. Send that place love and compassion. 3, the courage ritual. Create a daily practice that builds your courage. Maybe it's standing in the mirror each morning and saying, "I am brave." Maybe it's writing one fear you're willing to face each day. Maybe it's speaking up in spaces where you've stayed silent before. What's one small ritual you could create to cultivate courage? Fear thrives in isolation, but it shrinks in connection. In many African traditions, there is a concept called Ubuntu. I am because we are. It is the understanding that our strength is found in one another. So when fear grips you, don't go at it alone. Lean on your people. Speak your fears out loud, because when we say them, they lose their power. Who is someone you can turn to when fear feels overwhelming? The gift of fear. Finally, let me leave you with this. In the Japanese art of kintsugi, broken pottery is repaired with gold, making the cracks the most beautiful part of that piece. Our fears are like these cracks. They show us where we've been broken, but they also show us where we are ready to heal. And when we heal, we do not just return to who we were, we become something greater. So I ask you, what if fear is not your enemy? What if it is your guide? What if it is here not to stop you, but to push you toward the life you were meant to live? What is one fear that has in some way been a gift? My friends, fear is the alchemist. It is the fire that refines you, the pressure that shapes you, the storm that forces your roots to grow. So the next time fear knocks at your door, don't run, don't shrink. Stand. Face it. Embrace it. Alchemize it. Because on the other side of freedom, the other side of fear is freedom. And freedom is why we are here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's so insightful to turn something around to a strength. Thank people. Let's see. So you can check your order of service and the newsletter for announcements. If you're not on the mailing list, go to bfuu.org to sign up, or you can contact, I guess, Jeff after the service back there. At this moment, I'd like to just take a little time and ask anyone who's new to introduce yourself, if you feel like it, completely optional. And I'd also like someone who's been here a little bit to also introduce themselves. And I would define new very broadly, say you've only started coming in the last 10 years, maybe. But we can start with someone who's moderately new old, or anyone who wants to jump up and introduce themselves.
I'm Alan. I haven't been here for like a month, so I'm sure you've all forgotten me.
Wait, hold the microphone close to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. And I'm still relatively new to the Bay Area. I moved here in August. And I grew up Unitarian Universalist in Seattle. And before that, my mom was a Unitarian in Massachusetts. And so when I moved to the Bay Area, I was looking for people who would feel like a community and like home, and just, to meet people in my neighborhood. And so I was very lucky to discover that there's a Unitarian church that's just 2 blocks from where I live. And over the past slightly more than 6 months, I think at this point, it's been so lovely to spend time with all of you and get to know your names and chat with you. And so I'm very happy to be here today.
Oh, thank you, Alan.
Hi.
Hello.
Go
ahead.
I'm Tony with an I, and
Hi, Tony.
I borrowed this guy from out there, and he's hanging out with me. I've been here a handful of times. I'm not really a church person. I grew up here in Berkeley. As a brown person adopted by a white Dutch family, so it's been very interesting. And I'm very grateful to be here because I've been going through a lot of grief. And thank you for supporting me and being welcoming.
Thank you for sharing that. Someone over here.
I'm new, so I don't know.
New. Okay, brand new.
I'm new to UU and in Berkeley because I'm a UU member in Gloucester, Massachusetts, the oldest Universalist church in the country, started by Murray and responsible for the beginning of religious freedom. Anyway, I didn't want to say that. I wanted to say that I really was very moved by Prince's talk. And I hope that you can actually make that talk available on the internet somehow, YouTube or whatever, because I think many people would find that really inspirational. I think it's important to do that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Is it? Yeah. You just selected the talk itself? Would be the outside necessarily, don't the UU.
It's available with the whole service, and all the services are on YouTube and live streamed, so you can watch it if you go to BFUU office.
My suggestion, however, would be that people may not want to go to a church, right? But I think the talk itself would really maybe even go viral. It's a terrific talk. Yeah. And the delivery was beautiful.
Thanks. I thought so too.
So I'd like to invite, a couple people who have been coming here to introduce themselves so the new people get a sense of who is here and help build community. Yeah, Hank. Go.
Hi, I'm Marjorie Michaels, or Margie, or Maggie, a lot of different names that start with an M. I've just been here the last, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 months, because I moved here from Southern California. And I wanted to have this opportunity anyway to make an announcement, if that's okay. So it's about the People's Arms Embargo. Okay, so next Sunday is a global day of action to close bases around the world. As you probably know, the United States has about 800 military bases around the world. And one of the largest bases in the country is only about an hour outside of San Francisco, east at the Travis Air Force Base. And at Travis, that's one of the places they've been shipping out the big bombs for Israel to do the genocide, in my opinion, okay? And it's also, not only that, but it's the place where they're loading up the immigrants to take them back to countries which we do not know. But so they're doing those two things. They're the mass deportations and then arming Israel right here. And so the People's Arms Embargo are people who have been going out there and trying to block the entrance to the bases and stuff. And so next Sunday is a global one, and so I will be here and I will have a car, and we're not starting next Sunday until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So if anyone wants to go along, This will be my fourth time. Haven't gotten arrested. People have gotten arrested that actually stand and block, and nobody's ever had to do any time or anything. Just a short arrest and release. But anyway, I'll wrap it up. I have these flyers if anybody's interested. Thank you so much.
Sumi, Prince is here online right now, so he can say a few words.
Oh. Prince, hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Hey. Hi, my dear friends. Hello, BFUU.
We loved your sermon.
Oh my goodness. I am so happy to see you all. And I really apologize because we had lost power here in my house. And so I couldn't join in, but when I did, I saw Tom Luce doing a really, really great job with that sermon. Let's give it up for Tom Luce. Thank you, Tom. Let me say that BFUU has been a really wonderful place for me when I spent my time in Berkeley. And I was going through some major transitions in my life. I had just moved from Kenya. I had left a pregnant partner. And then I moved into this new country that was undergoing one of its most fundamental times in history. I came around July. And that time the election was really, heated up. And so it was an interesting time to be in the United States. It was a bit of a scary time. It was a time of fear. But the people in BFUU became a solace. BFUU became not just a place that I go on Sundays to receive a sermon, but a place where I go to meet people, a place where I go to meet friends, and a place where there's echo. I just saw someone said echo.
No, we're fine. We're fine.
Can you guys hear me fine?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. I was just saying that BFUU became a place where I could face my fears, and one of my favorite rituals was the stone and water ritual, or when you get to speak out something. And these are things that I'm still practicing right here in Kenya. I've introduced some of these things to my friends and family. And we've been watching some of those BFUU services online. And in case anyone wants the speech, I had someone said they wanted the sermon. It's on the soft copy, the written copy. I think Jeff can also plan to have that made available. And let me just say that I am extremely grateful to each and every one of you who received me as a friend, as a son, as a brother. You made a profound impact in my life. All of you have taught me in different ways what it means to have real human values at a day and age where those are disappearing very quickly. And I encourage BFUU to go on strong. I know most of the people there are in their sunset years, but they're as energetic as ever. Maggie, I see you. And I encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. Maggie was the first person that I met after I walked into BFUU. The first person was Ernest, who was sweeping outside, because I had just been taking a stroll in the neighborhood and I saw an interesting looking building. I met Ernest. They told me that there was a talk happening by Sumi later, after a few hours. And then I came back when that time had reached. I walked in and I saw Maggie across the table. She said hi, welcomed me. Then we had the wonderful Change Made Easier sessions with Sumi, where I got to know most people personally. And I want to say a big thank you to Sumi because she became a really, really good friend, almost like a mother to me. even managed to visit my family here in Kenya. And I encourage all of you to do the same. Please come one, come all. You're all welcomed. I will be delighted to receive the BFUU family. I will make time in case anyone is coming. I know Virginia said she was gonna come. So please, Virginia, get as many people on that plane with you as possible. Jeff, Margaret, everyone, all my good friends. I can't even say all the names, but I really welcome you to try this exciting trip. And most importantly, use fear, turn fear into strength as the basis of the talk. The reason I gave this talk was inspired by one of the former speakers in BFUU that had talked about the demons in our days, where she had said that sometimes we have these demons that we are so afraid of, but if you welcome it into your house and sit down and give it a cup of tea and say, look, I see you, demon, I acknowledge your presence here, have some tea. And then after the tea, it's like, okay, it's time for you to go, bye-bye, see you not so soon. You know, it's a way of facing those demons and embracing them and realizing that they are part of the journey. So I think fear also does not have to be this big monster. As Tom Luce has really said it, Tom Luce, it was great to see you speaking. Those words really also touched me. We can embrace this. We can do those little exercises that make it more practical to face this fear. And I also see Gary in the service. I had shared some of my insecurities and fears, especially career or work-related fears with him during some of our drives in the Bay Area. He really took me around the place. It's beautiful. And so think about how you can all use these practical tools to face fear. And you know, every day is a brand new day. So even if we don't win today, we can always get up again and fight tomorrow. So thank you all. You're all in my thoughts and prayers, and I really love the BFUU family. Thank you so much.
Yay. So Prince, I want to say that, you know, I think you really brought a lot of joy and positive connection and inspired us here. And those of us who got to know you were just like really thrilled. So yeah, thank you so much. And I didn't really do like the intro to Prince before, but Prince is, where do I have this? Oh, okay. So Prince Murugari is a Kenyan development economist. And as I think he mentioned, he was working at Berkeley as a researcher for several months here. And he's passionate about leveraging data for impactful solutions in Africa. And so he is now back in Kenya, but he has his own consulting e-commerce business, as well as continuing his research on methods to alleviate poverty in Africa. Okay. So someone else would, yes?
I wanted to address a question to Prince. Can you hear me? Prince, can you hear me? This is Betsy. Hi. I
can hear you,
I danced with you.
I remember.
I remember so well. You were an instant friend. Where's the camera? Whee! Here, there's the, oh, hi. Hello there.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. I have a very small fear, so I'm going to use my courage and ask you. My fear is that I'm going to put you on the spot. I wonder if you might consider giving your poem, whether you would allow Tom to share that with us as well as your sermon. That's my question. I loved your poem. I loved your poem.
This poem by Mutabaruka. So the poem is actually even on YouTube. It's a 1987 poem by a creator called Mutabaruka. And so I am just one of the people out there sharing it. And so you can absolutely feel free to go and see how he does it. He delivers it really well. You can check it out on YouTube and most places on the internet. And I'm really glad that it spoke a strong message. I thought it was a good addition to Black History Month. And I wasn't there when it was being read, but taking your feedback, I think it was impactful. So thank you so much, and feel free to keep spreading the positive message.
All right, thank you. So, any other questions or things people want to say to Prince while we have him here?
Prince, Mutabaruka is my favorite, one of my favorite musicians.
Wow, thanks, Chris. I'm glad to know that you've checked him out, and yeah, so you can definitely be the one sharing the links.
Hi, Prince. Wonderful poem.
Hello.
Wonderful sermon. So I'm going to do the preview of coming attractions. Next week, we're wrapping up a wonderful series of Black History services that we've had. The speaker is Lynn Barnett, who's a community organizer and a historian who lives in Oakland. He is focusing on the story of Rosa Parks, the story that we think we know and the story behind that, offering advice from her life about that we can apply in these interesting times that we're living in. We're also going to have original music performed by Tom Rotaro, and I've invited some activist friends of mine and a new organization that I've gotten in touch with called Art Ensemble in Oakland. It's going to be a great service. Y'all come.
Thank you.
A couple of more announcements. So our Social Justice Committee, our monthly meeting, because this is the third Sunday after lunch, and everybody please stay for lunch, and then afterwards we'll have the Social Justice Committee meeting to which everybody is invited. We might, I think we'll meet probably out there in the foyer. And then at 5 p.m. today, we have a Palestinian peace activist who will speak, Hamza Awade. I may have pronounced his name incorrectly, but he will be a wonderful speaker, and we hope you will all come back for that from 5 to 6:30 today.
Okay, thank you. Since we're kind of doing announcements, I'm going to make a very, very short one, just that if you were here in the fall, you may have participated in the Change Made Easier class that I conducted here. And we're doing another one, and it's going to be here. I started with inviting the Alameda Unitarian Fellowship, but they don't have their own facility, and they have an agreement that they can hold events here. So starting on March 12th for 4 consecutive Wednesday evenings, we'll be holding it here, and I can share more information about it if you're not familiar with it, and I have some flyers. So now is the time to sharing of responsibility. So we share our responsibility for the home that we're creating together. So in February, our shared plate partner is the Transgender Variant and Intersex Justice Project. This is a San Francisco-based nonprofit working to end human rights abuses against transgender, intersex, and gender variant persons, particularly trans women of color, in California prisons and detention centers. So we'll pass, the plate, and you can also make a donation online if you go onto BFUU. So we dedicate our offerings to the work of this fellowship. Beyond these walls, we dedicate ourselves, and these are our offerings. Thank you for correcting me. So because Jeff said I could add my own poem, this isn't mine. Anyway, I could choose to read a poem. This is very short. I know we're trying to wrap up. But this is a poem by Maya Angelou called "This Moment is a Gift." Courage is the most important of all virtues, because without courage, you cannot practice any other virtue consistently. You must embrace yourself as you are, an imperfect being, capable of everything, flawed and beautiful. Embrace each moment as a precious gift, even the ones filled with fear, for it is in fear that you will discover your own power. Thank you. Okay, so I guess we have a final hymn. Please join the choir in singing Shosholoza, a traditional South African work song.
Okay, before we sing it, the words are a little piece of paper in your order of service, and I'm going to pronounce the words so you can sing along. Shosholoza. You can repeat after me.
Shosholoza.
Okay. Kulezon Taba.
Kulezon Taba.
Stimela Sifume.
Stimela Sifume.
South Africa.
South Africa.
That's the hardest one. Okay, and then the next verse, you repeat it twice in the song, by the way. The next verse only has one different line. It's the hardest one in the song. Sorry, I'm doing it wrong. When uya baleka.
When uya baleka.
Very good. So, and then kulezon taba again. Kulezon taba. Stimela sifume.
Stimela sifume.
South Africa. Don't worry if you make a ton of mistakes.
Because we will.
Because we will.
Because we will.
Well, we're going to try to do it right. Okay, so I'm just going to start with a couple chords. Shosholoza, kulezon taba, stimela sifume South Africa. Shosholoza, kulezon taba, stimela sifume South Africa. When uya baleka, kulezon taba, stimela sifume South Africa. When uya baleka, kulezon taba, stimela sifume South Africa. Shosholoza, kulezon taba, stimela sifume South Africa. Shosholoza, kulezon taba, stimela sifume South Africa. When uya baleka, kulezon taba, stimela sifume South Africa. When uya baleka, kulezon taba, stimela sifume South Africa.
That was great. Okay, now we'll extinguish the chalice. Please read with us the words in your order of service. Can someone do the, you're going to do the extinguishing? Thank you. We extinguish the flame of this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, or the energy of service. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. So thank you all for joining us today. After the service, you're welcome to stay and enjoy community. We have lunch and conversation. And now we'll do our final circle. So please form a circle, and we'll join in singing the hymn number 155, Circle Around for Freedom.